Have you ever wondered how someone can face unbearable pain and still become a symbol of hope? In 14th century Italy, marked by war and disease, a woman with no control over her destiny would rise to inspire millions. Saint Rita of Cascia became known as the Saint of Impossible Causes. But what made her story so powerful that 6 centuries later people still pray to her? Her life was a journey through obedience, deep suffering, radical forgiveness, and unexplained miracles. She was a faithful daughter, the wife of a violent man, a grieving mother, a rejected nun, and finally a contemplative mystic marked by a mysterious stigmata. This is more than a biography. It's a story of divine endurance, a voice from the past still echoing today. Rita Lotti was born in 1381 in the small village of Roccaporena in central Italy. Her parents, Antonio and Amata, were elderly, making her birth seem almost miraculous. Legend says that as a baby, a swarm of white bees surrounded her cradle, without harming her, later seen as a sign of her holiness. From an early age, Rita showed deep devotion. While other children played, she often withdrew to pray. Her true desire was to become a nun. But fearing old age alone, her parents arranged her marriage to Paolo Mancini, a man known for his violent temper. At just 12, Rita discovered her dreams would be sacrificed, yet she didn't rebel. Married around 18, she accepted her path with silent strength, a choice that continues to fascinate historians to this day. What followed were 18 years of a deeply troubled marriage. Paolo Mancini was known for his violent temper, infidelity, and involvement in deadly feuds between rival families in Umbria. These weren't mere arguments. They were vendettas that left trails of blood and revenge. Rita found herself trapped. In the 14th century, divorce wasn't an option, and women were expected to submit completely, but her response defied logic. Instead of becoming bitter, Rita chose silent resilience. Through patient prayer and gentle acts, she slowly softened Paolo's heart. And after years of quiet endurance, a miracle happened. Paolo began to change. Even in a world fueled by revenge, Rita's quiet strength spoke louder. During this time, she also gave birth to twin sons, deepening her journey of faith and sacrifice. Rita's life was about to change forever. One night, her husband Paolo was brutally murdered in an ambush by a rival family. She was around 36 when she received the devastating news, but what terrified her even more was how her teenage sons would react. In medieval Umbria, family revenge was a sacred duty. Her twin sons, just 16, swore to avenge their father's death. Rita faced an agonizing dilemma: support her sons in their quest for justice, or stop them from becoming part of the same cycle of bloodshed. Some stories say Rita prayed with such intensity that she asked God to take them before they could kill. Others say she pleaded with them tirelessly, hoping to change their hearts. Whatever the case, before they could act, both sons suddenly fell ill and died, likely from one of the deadly plagues sweeping the region. It remains one of the most painful and controversial chapters in Saint Rita's journey. Widowed and childless, Rita was finally ready to follow her true calling, life in a convent. But when she asked to join the Augustinian nuns in Cascia, they refused. Her family's past in bloody feuds made her a risk. She tried 3 times and was rejected each time. Still, she didn't give up. She prayed, lived with grace, and waited. Then came a turning point. One night, while praying at home, 3 saints appeared to her: John the Baptist, Augustine, and Nicholas of Tolentino, and miraculously brought her inside the locked convent. The next morning, the nuns found her there and believed it was a divine sign. At 36, Rita was finally accepted. Her new life had just begun. Rita's life in the convent was marked by deep spiritual discipline. While others performed routine duties, she chose the humblest tasks and harshest penances. She tended the convent garden, where one of her most famous miracles took place. In the dead of winter, after a sick relative asked for a rose, Rita found a single red rose blooming in the frozen soil. But her most extraordinary experience came around age 60. During a sermon on Christ's Passion, she meditated so intensely that a thorn from his crown allegedly flew from the crucifix and pierced her forehead, leaving a wound that never healed. That wound caused her constant pain for 15 years. It gave off a foul odor, forcing her into isolation. Yet believers say the scent turned into roses when approached by people of true faith. To Rita, it wasn't punishment. It was a gift, a way to suffer with Christ. In her final years, confined to bed by age and her wound, Rita became a sought-after counselor. Nobles, peasants, and merchants came to the convent for her wisdom and prayers. Many claimed to experience healing and miracles after meeting her. One touching story occurred shortly before her death. In the harsh winter, Rita asked her cousin to bring 2 figs and a rose from her old garden. It seemed impossible. It was January. But when her cousin arrived, she found exactly that: 2 ripe figs and a blooming rose in the snow. Rita died on May 22, 1457, at 76, a remarkable age for the time. Witnesses say the convent bells rang by themselves, and a mysterious light filled her room. Even more astonishing, the painful wound on her forehead became a glowing mark like a jewel, a mystery that still baffles science today. Rita wasn't canonized right after her death. Though venerated locally for centuries, it wasn't until 1900, 443 years later, that Pope Leo XIII declared her a saint. Today, she's one of the most beloved figures in Catholicism, with millions of devoted followers worldwide. Why does her story resonate so deeply? Because Rita lived every possible vocation for a woman: obedient daughter, patient wife, devoted mother, resilient widow, and contemplative nun. And in each role, she faced unimaginable challenges, that circumstances don't define our worth, that forgiveness is strength, not weakness, that even in despair, hope remains. True transformation, Rita shows us, is often born from suffering embraced with purpose. If her story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share this video with someone who needs hope today. Remember, the greatest miracles often begin in the darkest moments.